And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here to Talladega Superspeedway as we get ready here for race number 7 of the NNSCRA Mobil1 Cup Series. And I say race 7, even though tomorrow is race 8 of Snickers Cup, because last week the Mobil1 Cup Series took a week off when we were at the Snickers Cup Series event at Infineon. So therefore, this is only race number 7 of the season in Mobil1 Cup Series competition. I do want to quickly say, please ignore the R at the end of Andy Timmons' name. For some reason, I've gotten this far into the season, I still have forgotten to remember to take the R off Andy Timmons' name because he is not a rookie. But anyway, he is on the pole position for today's event, looking for his first win of the season, actually looking for his first win since the very beginning of last season when he ended up winning at the Milwaukee Mile. I believe that was race number 4 of season 7, so it's been a long time, over a season, since Andy Timmons has been to victory lane in a Mobil1 Cup Series event. He'll try and win here today at Talladega, and Timmons comes into this race currently 24th in points too, so he could certainly use a win to move up through the stands. Alongside of him, Charles Jackson. This has been by far, I think, one of his best Mobil1 Cup Series seasons. He's been very consistent. He is second in the point stands, and he is only 17 points out of the top position in the standings. He has been very, very consistent with solid top 10 runs just about every single week, and he'll try and pick up his first win of the season here at Talladega. That's going to be Chris Washer going to line up in the third position. Washer comes into this race having a lot of difficulty, 41st in the point standings, and as we say at Talladega, it always seems to be that the underdog is the one that comes out on top of these restricted plate tracks. You never know, it may be the case here today. As a matter of fact, keep in mind too, not exactly all about starting at the back or starting at the front. We end up having our front row in the Truck Series race. Luke Walker, who started on the pole, and Jessica Shelton, who started on the outside of the front row, they finished 1-2 by the end of the race. So, you know, it may end up being these guys starting up here at the front, may be able to be there at the front by the end of this race. Anyways, though, let's get these cars rolling off. I think it's Dylan Young rolling off from the 4th position, but I may be incorrect. It's either him or Dylan Poteet, but we'll see it in just a minute. As you're going to take a look at your starting lineup on the top of your screen, 29 laps of racing here today, and that is indeed Dylan Young's Chick-fil-A Chevy out of Turner Motorsports. That is starting off in the 4th position. Former winner of the season as well, won back at Las Vegas and is 5th in the point standings. So why don't we give you the overview of the points coming in today's race as far as the top 10. The most consistent driver this season is the points leader, and that's rookie points leader as well, Dylan Thoreau. He is the points leader. He has been so consistent. I don't think there's been a race that he's finished outside the top 7 yet, but he has been really, really strong this season, but he's still looking for that first victory here in Season 8. Charles Jackson, he's second in points, as I said, 17 points out. Levi McIntyre is right now 3rd in the standings. Right now he is a total of 24 points back. Joshua Collard, our winner from Coca-Cola, he's 4th in the points. He is, I believe, 44 points out. No, I'm sorry, 34 points out, my apologies. 35 points out is Dylan Young, he's 5th in standings. And then another rookie, Jean Sanford, has been having a really strong momentum streak in the last few weeks. She's up to 6th in standings. Cody Lamas is 7th. Anthony McCurry is 8th. This by far has been the best season Kyotech Racing's had in Mobil Cup Series competition since they debuted in this series. Justin Talampas is another rookie up inside the top 10. He's 9th in the standings. And Joe Davis completes the top 10. The rest of the drivers that have gone to victory lane already this season that are outside the top 10 in points. Bob Fergus is 11th in the standings. Jake Rogers, our winner from Rockingham, UK, is 13th in points. James McLeod, he is 19th in the standings, our winner from Daytona. And Wolfgang Mason, our winner from, I believe it was Auto Club, he is 20th in the points coming into this race. So here we are, getting ready to get them underway for 29 laps of racing. Our 2 races so far, Last But Slate Series and Truck Series, it's come down to fuel mileage and fuel strategy. Will that be the case today? I kind of seem to think so. Here we go. Andy Timmons and Charles Jackson get us underway. The Aaron's 312 is green. And it didn't take long in the Truck Series event for trouble to break out. We went clean and green in the Last But Slate Series race. So what side of the spectrum is this Mobil1 Cup Series race going to fit on? Are we going to have a wreck fest? Or are we going to have one that's going to go clean and green the full 29 laps? And it comes down to track position and fuel mileage as to who's going to win. And right now, Charles Jackson putting up a great fight on that outside line. He and Dylan Young did not separate on the drop of that green, but now I think they're going to get freight trained as Andy Timmons has got some help down there. Chris Washer, Jacob Lawler, Justin Talampas, and I believe that's Cassandra Renzi back there, 5th on that inside line. So Timmons goes to the point. Washer into 2nd, battled side by side between 2 former Snickers Cup Series champs, Jacob Lawler and Charles Jackson. Now Talampa sticks them up into a 3-wide situation, and Timmons will lead the first lap of the day here. Chris Washer, fellow Chevy Camaro, seems to be content to ride right behind him at the current moment. 25 out of Michael Norman Motorsports, the 88 out of Junior Motorsports. And then here comes the 38 of Justin Talampas, that of course out of Turner. And now Talampas going to make a move underneath of Chris Washer, that's for 2nd, and right behind him comes the Chevrolet of Stephen Pollard III. A couple drivers on the outside of the top 10 in points looking in that we should keep an eye on. I'm actually seeing one of them working his way towards the front right now, and that's Trent Dunham. He is 12th in the point standings, a former Mobil1 Cup Series champion. Jessica Shelton has actually been turning up the heat after she missed the Midsummer Classic main event in the Truck Series. The Mobil Cup Series, though, she's really been doing well. She is currently 15th in points. And Ricky Falcon making his return to NNSCRA competition here in the rookie season, the Mobil Cup Series. He is currently running 14th in the point standings. So a number of drivers doing pretty well here, and could use Talladega as a bit of a springboard. As now Stephen Pollard III is going to go to the bottom on Justin Talampas, and here comes one of the Michael Norman Motorsports machines, the 3 of Nick Smith, coming up the inside line there. Not too far behind there is the breast cancer awareness number 9 of Jessica Shelton, but now she's just gotten kicked into the middle groove. And now here comes Nick Smith to the bottom on Stephen Pollard III. That would be for the lead. Not so fast. Jordan Davis, big run to the bottom. And the caution's out, I think. Oh, I just heard a wreck, actually. I saw somebody down on the apron. I don't know who it was. It may have been the pace car, but the caution flag is out. And whatever the wreck was, it looks like it may have caught up the tail end of the field. I see a couple drivers falling back there. Gene Sanford is falling back. I believe Matthew Dallio was involved in that. And I thought I saw rookie Ricky Falcon. And uh-oh, they're going 4 wide here. Sean Galligan, McCurry, Nick Smith, and rim riding to Stephen Pollard III. They don't want to wreck before they come down near the caution flag. Oh, Andy Timmons up there crowding Dylan Thoreau. They almost wrecked there. That would have been the points leader. And caution is out as Jake Rogers is going to lead them under the yellow. And now we got to keep an eye on these guys because they are 4 wide here, and sometimes they can wreck under caution, and they just did. They just did, and I think Nick Smith was collected. Well, they may have just saved it. Timmons, I think, got a piece of it. And I think they did. Well, nope. Stephen Pollard III's got damage now, and so does the points leader, Dylan Thoreau. Both of them were in that 4-wide situation coming out of 4. Oh, Justin Talampas has been collected as well. Cody Lamas has got damage. Wolfgang Mason. LJ Mills may have been involved. Pichu London's got damage. Oh, Jacob Lawler, a lot of damage on the front of that hefty Toyota. Bob Fergus, our winner from Atlanta, has been collected as well. And I have to assume that maybe some of those drivers from maybe Cody Lamas on back were actually what brought out the caution. The other drivers were the drivers involved in that follow-up wreck, as it looks like Jake Rogers will be the leader, McCurry in 2nd, Jordan Davis, who's actually dead last in points, he's up to 3rd now, Andreas Allen in 4th, and former Mobil1 Cup Series champion Sean Galligan, he is currently in the 5th position, as it looks like we're going to have some pit stops here on lap 5 of 25, coming to lap 6 of 20, or not 25, 29 I should say, coming to lap 6 of 29, oh, the leaders are not coming. But it looks like 7th place on back. Collard, Dunham, Nick Smith, Kyle Matthews, Timmons, Pollard, Talampas, and Dylan Thoreau are coming. I think for the 33, the 8, the 70, they're coming as far as regularly scheduled stops. Those other guys behind them may be coming because of the damage they received. At least Thoreau, Pollard, and Talampas, I would assume, are. Looks like a couple other drivers were coming down behind them too. Cassandra Renzi on back were coming to pit road. So let's see if they go for tires or just for fuel here on the 33, our winner from Coca-Cola. And Collard, it's a gas and go, and he is down and away. So the lead is still going to be held by Jake Rogers. He and a number of others decide not to pit this early. And so let's jump back and take a look at a replay of what put us under the caution flag for the first time here today, and then we'll take a look at that follow-up wreck as well, as they were trying to slow up under the caution. Now the car that I did see on the apron was the 41 of Joe Davis. Right here, he and LJ Mills just going to kind of crowd each other. LJ moves down. Joe Davis has to go beneath the double yellow line, and then, I don't know what this was all about, but LJ comes down again, and Joe Davis said, hey, I'm not going to move down any further here, and he just hooks the 54 around. And then Joe Davis, I believe, is going to come right back up into traffic, and I believe the driver he's going to make contact with may be the 18 of Bob Fergus. Right there. And then Cody Lamas, he gets clipped. This is going to happen right in front of Jacob Lawler. Sean Henley ends up being collected. He actually gets a hit from Pichu London. And then I don't believe it's over. I believe something happens here with Wolfgang Mason in the 82. Right here, they're trying to get back on track and everything, and Matthew Dallio decides to merge just a little too soon. And with a little help from Ricky Falcon, they end up turning around. The 82 of Wolfgang Mason, our winner from Auto Club, and he's going to rear-end it into the outside retaining wall that right there. I don't believe anybody else was collected in that. There's Fergus, there's Lawler, and there's LJ Mills was able to get his car turned back around. I don't think LJ Mills actually hit anything. He was able to hang on to it. But that was a bit of a feud between the 54 and the 41 that ended up involving a number of innocent victims. And then let's jump up here. I think Stephen Pollard III was... I don't think he was the chief cause of it, but I think he was involved. Let's take a look here. Heading into turn 1, they are 4x4x4, so that was dangerous enough. And then when they try and slow up, a lot of times when they slow up, it kills the speed, and the driver's cars with the slower speed slide down the hill. And with 4 wide, there's not much room to slide down. And they were just about leaning against each other there were Andy Timmons, Dylan Thoreau, and Stephen Pollard III, and that happens right in front of Talampas, who had nowhere to go, and then Nick Smith also is clipped and collected as well. And I believe everybody else somehow, someway is able to get by this. Still 4-wide situation, just 2 of the cars are facing the wrong way. Actually, 3 of them were facing the wrong way there. There you see Carson Gum go to the bottom. A little contact there for, I believe, that was Caleb Farrell. I think he got a tiny piece of the machine of Stephen Pollard III. So we'll have to see if that comes into play. I don't know how significant a hit that was, but you saw a little bit of sheet metal hit there once the 42 and the 89 made some contact. That's what brings us under the caution. A wreck and then a follow-up wreck in turn 1 after the caution flew. Let's head back now for the restart as drivers are already utilizing some pit strategy here at Talladega Superspeedway. So lights are out atop the pace car. We will return to green flag racing on lap 9 of 29. Already some drivers have gone behind the wall, including Sean Henley. He immediately brought his car to the garage area. Bob Fergus as well, Jacob Lawler, Justin Talampas, and Stephen Pollard III. So 5 drivers out after what I think we could classify as a 7-car incident to bring us under the caution, and then about a 5-car wreck underneath the caution when we were getting everything settled out to run some pace laps. And we have some interesting strategies going on here. Jake Rogers deciding to stay out. He is the leader. Anthony McCurry is 2nd, Jordan Davis 3rd, 4th Andreas Allen, and 5th is Sean Galligan. Dylan Poteet runs in 6th, 7th is Jessica Shelton, 8th place Mason Wood, 9th Nick Alton, and James Silverfox now completes the top 10. Then it's Chris Washer 11th, Bob Jones in 12th, Charles Jackson 13th, 14th Carson Gum, 15th Levi McIntyre, Danny Wells runs 16th, 17th Zach Hamlin, 18th place is going to be Tristan Folks with Matthew Dallio in 19th, and LJ Mills completes the top 20. Surprisingly enough, even after spinning out, he did not come to pit road to get those tires changed. He was the last driver to stay out. These drivers all pitted under the caution. 21st place is going to be Joshua Collar, 22nd Trent Dunham, 23rd place is Kyle Matthews, 24th Andy Timmons, 25th Cassandra Renzi, Tim Walsh 26th, Caleb Farrell 27th, 28th Dylan Young, Gene Sanford in 29th, and 30th James McLeod. Then it's Ricky Falcon, Cody Lamas, Pichu London, Joe Davis, Dylan Thoreau, Nick Smith, and Wolfgang Mason, the rest of the field. So it looks like the top 20 decided not to pit, and if this thing goes clean and green to the end, we could see a cycle of pit stops play out huge into who is going to win this race. But hey, it's Talladega. You never know when a wreck's going to happen. And we're about to see if these guys are going to decide to do a little bit of green flag racing here, as Jake Rogers got a huge jump. And normally at Talladega, that is not a good thing. But they are splitting double wide behind him, which means that the likelihood of him being freight trained when they catch him is a little less possible than if they were all single file. McCrory in second, Andreas Allen now up there in third. Allen comes in 16th in points, so this is a great opportunity for Andreas to actually get up inside of the top 10 in the standings. Big opportunity here, too, for a number of drivers that are struggling in points to be able to get themselves up in the standings, including dead last in points Jordan Davis up here in the top 10. Sean Galligan, who is currently right now 28th in points. And Mason Wood in the 2 machine. He is also struggling in points, currently 25th in the standings. So a big opportunity for a number of these drivers to be able to get themselves up in the points, because it's still early on. You can gain about up to maybe 6-7 spots in the stands with a good run, and Mason Wood just got dumped right in the middle of the field. And oh, it looks like they almost wrecked again. That time I think Chris Washer was on the apron. I think he just Kyle Bushed it, actually. I think he was slideways on the apron. And did they all avoid Mason Wood, or was that just a single car incident? I don't know. And I don't know if the caution's out. Oh yeah, it should be. Yeah, it is, and there were a number involved. Andy Timmons, Dylan Poteet. Points leader Dylan Thoreau involved in his second wreck of the day. Gene Sanford involved as well. There is Mason Wood's machine, and Pichu London is also sitting on pit road. So Jake Rogers going to lead us under yet another caution flag. Andreas Allen just beating out Jessica Shelton. Shelton will be third, and McCrory fourth, with Galligan in fifth place. Well, I thought maybe, just maybe, when the 2 cars shot up right in front of everybody, somehow we had gotten away with a miracle at Talladega and everybody had avoided. Apparently that is not the case, and that was a number of drivers that really did not need to have to come away with a bad finish here today. Gene Sanford, 6th in points, we saw there on pit road. And a number of drivers that are struggling this season in points. Dylan Poteet, Pichu London, Mason Wood, as we mentioned. I mean, this was certainly not what they needed either. Andy Timmons, who was the pole sitter coming into this race. But the caution flag is out. Drivers are in turn 3. It's going to take a while to get over here. More than likely, the top 20 that did not pit under the last caution will pit under this caution. So we'll take the opportunity to jump back, take a look at a replay of what puts under the yellow for the second time here today at Dega. Well, I saw this one happening when they went 4 wide here, and Jessica Shelton, Mason Wood just literally leaning on each other, and Shelton turns down. Mason Wood then is turned down across the nose of Nick Alton, who had nothing to do with this. And then Dylan Poteet just had absolutely nowhere to go. And oh man, dead last in points, Jordan Davis. What was looking like it was going to be a promising run for the 28 goes south in a hurry as he's boxed up there. And then what goes up must come down. Unfortunately, it's going to come down right in front of Andy Timmons. Gene Sanford, McLeod gets a piece of it. Ricky Falcon is also involved. Look at the hit that took right there. Oh, Caleb Farrell got a piece of it, so did Cody Lamas. And then the hits keep on coming, because here comes points leader Dylan Thoreau straight into the 2 machine. Actually flips him upside down and right in front of Nick Smith. Oh, and there's where Pichu London got involved. I believe he actually nailed Dylan Poteet. Look at the 2 cars, still flipping, still barrel rolling, now airborne, as he flies by the Joe Davis machine. Wow. That was a wild ride for Mason Wood. That started all the way over at the entrance of 1 and ended at the exit of turn number 2 with many flips along the way. We should take a couple onboards with this one. On board with Dylan Poteet, who you'll see had absolutely nowhere to go when this wreck started. And here comes the hit from Pichu London right there. Oh, right there. Ouch. Man. That was a hard impact. Looks like the streak of consistent finishes for Dylan Thoreau is going to end here at Dega. Watch this. avoided Dylan Poteet, but could not avoid the Rain-X Chevrolet. Now on board with Mason Wood. Watch how long this wreck goes with the driver out of RCR. And it's still not over. And it's still not over. Now it's over. Well, surprisingly enough, everybody came to pit road. Even the drivers that had pitted back on lap, I believe it was lap 3, they came to pit road as well, and so everybody now is on the exact same pit sequence. Jessica Shelton's team, though, were the fastest on pit road, getting her out into the lead, ahead of Andreas Allen. Jake Rogers, who came down pit road as the leader, comes out in 3rd. Sean Galligan in 4th, and Bob Jones is in 5th. Tim Walsh is now up to 6th. 7th is Zach Camlin. Charles Jackson runs in 8th. 9th, Levi McIntyre. And 10th is Tristan Folks. They got Nick Alton 11th. 12th place, Carson Gum. Anthony McCurry is in 13th. 14th, Chris Washer. Kyle Matthews runs 15th. 16th place, Danny Wells. James Silverfox is 17th. 18th, Cody Lamas. 19th, Matthew Dallio. Cassandra Renzi is in 20th. And the rest of the drivers on track and on the lead lap are LJ Mills, Joshua Collar, Dylan Young, and Ricky Falcon. More drivers out of the race, including the following: Trent Dunham, Wolfgang Mason, Mason Wood, Jordan Davis, Dylan Poteet, Andy Timmons, Gene Sanford, James McLeod, Caleb Farrell, Joe Davis, Pichu London, Dylan Thoreau. The points leader will finish 36th here today. Also out of the race is Nick Smith as they join Stephen Pollard III, Justin Talampas, Jacob Lawler, Bob Fergus, and Sean Henley in the garage area. So Jessica Shelton gets us back under green. And we have an opportunity now for a new driver to take the lead in the point standings. And there are a couple of contenders for that. Actually, all 4 of the drivers trying to run down Dylan Thoreau that are in the top 5 in points are still on track. Charles Jackson, Levi McIntyre, Joshua Collard, and Dylan Young. On the flip side, though, drivers that came in running well in points that have not had the best of Dega days. Of course, the points leader Dylan Thoreau, Gene Sanford 6th in points, Cody Lama 7th in points. He's still running, but he's badly damaged, and I don't think he'll be a factor in this win. Justin Talampas is out of the race, and so too is Joe Davis in the 41. Jake Rogers, man, that car wants to be out in front. He has led us under our 2 cautions, and now he goes back to the point after his pit crew was not fast enough to get him off pit road ahead of Jessica Shelton and Andreas Allen. Bob Jones coming up the inside line. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Bob Jones is a former winner here in the Mobil1 Cup Series at Talladega. He ended up winning, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say the next to last race of the season of Season 6 at Talladega Superspeedway. I may be incorrect in that, but I certainly seem to think that was the case. Yeah, I'm actually pretty certain. I believe he ended up winning it, driving the number 14 hefty Toyota. Right now, though, got quite a few interesting names up here that we haven't talked about yet that are in the hunt for this win, possibly. How about Zach Hamlin in the 43? Hamlin comes into this race currently in the... I just lost him in the standings there. 22nd in points. Big opportunity for the 43 car as now Levi McIntyre goes to the point, so it'll be another Ford going to the top of the leaderboard. We talked about Sean Galligan. How about Tim Walsh? We know he was one of the drivers who pitted back on lap 3, and now he's up here inside the top 10. And a couple other drivers starting to work their way up here into this pack. James Silverfox is one of them there in that 34. He's got a teammate right behind him in Cassandra Renzi. Matter of fact, there are quite a few of the Turner cars up here in this lead pack. The 32, the 34, and the 4. Right now it is Fords 1, 2, and 3. Actually 1, 2, 3, 4. The 60, 22, 19, and 43. The Mustangs taking control right now, as it's the 60 machine of Levi McIntyre leading the way. Tristan Folks right behind him in second. And actually, Folks' teammate Matthew Dallio is caught up to this lead pack too, so there's a chance for Penske Racing to work together, as Folks now going to go down to the bottom and look for the top position. Penske's been having a very struggling season. Tristan Folks and Matthew Dallio, 39th and 40th in the point standings. And both of them would love to go to victory lane here as Bob Jones now makes the move 3 wide underneath of Sean Galligan and Levi McIntyre. For Bob Jones, it's been kind of a bit of a yo-yo season. He gets a good finish, and then he gets a not-so-good finish. And then he'll get a good finish, and then he'll get a terrible finish. And right now, with that yo-yo effect, it has him situated 17th in the point standing. So apparently his bad finishes have not been too bad, and his good finishes have been rather good. Otherwise, he'd probably be sitting somewhere around 25th in the point standings. So Bob Jones hoping that this is the upside of the yo-yo, and hoping that maybe next week it won't be the downside of the yo-yo. Maybe the yo-yo can perform a trick and go up twice. Now we got a new second place driver, James Silverfox, who just a couple of laps ago was at the tail end of this pack, has now used the inside line to work his way up here to the front, and he's actually looking now for the lead. So James Silverfox will lead, actually. He will lead that lap. Silverfox comes into this race currently 26th in points, and I believe it's been at least 2 seasons that Silverfox has won at least one Mobil Cup Series race. I think it's been at least 2 seasons, it might be 3. Started back when he drove the 31 Transformers car, and then he came over, and I believe has he run 2 seasons, or is this only his second season with the 34? I can't remember. Charles Jackson, though, he gets kicked up to the high side, and surprise, surprise, Jake Rogers is the one going to the bottom, back to the point. Cassandra Renzi, former chaser last season, over with the Ford team this season, and 38th in the point stands. Nice to see a number of these drivers who are struggling in the points up here running well, and other of those would be Kyle Matthews in the 37. As a matter of fact, as I look here in this lead pack, I see drivers who come in 37th, 38th, 39th, 40th, and 41st in this lead pack, as they are 5 wide back there almost. Matthew Dallio almost went underneath Zach Hamlin's machine, and that would have been a 5 wide situation coming out of turn 2, but they keep it together. And there they go, Levi McIntyre, they saved that! Oh my word, they saved that! Allen got shoved into the wall, but they hung on to it, and we're still going. How did they do that? That was Levi McIntyre, somebody else, I couldn't tell who it was. It could have very well been Cassandra Renzi and Andreas Allen, who all got together. They almost wrecked heading into 3, but no sirree, they held on to it, and we are still green flag racing. And they're looking to go 4 wide here for the lead. Contact between Silverfox and Jessica Shelton, as Zach Hamlin goes to the bottom, drafting help from fellow Ford Mustang Matthew Dallio. They are 4x4x4, 3 rows deep. And, oh, I believe Tristan Folks has got some damage now. That could have been from that incident there with Levi McIntyre and Andreas Allen. He's got a little buckle on the front of his machine. Andreas Allen has also lost this draft as they are 4 wide still here. Now Silverfox to the point. You know, a couple of drivers who have been in this lead pack but not gotten up here into this clean air. Sean Galligan, don't count him out. I think he may be just waiting around. Danny Wells is up here in this lead pack, and also Tim Walsh in the 32. We could see them make emergences here very, very soon. As at the stripe, we got a total now of 7 laps remaining. And, oh man, I'm almost afraid to see if they're going to end up having another caution, because these guys are racing really hard from about 5th place on back. They're still 4 wide. Bob Jones, Danny Wells, Chris Washer, Jessica Shelton, all in the mix of that, as now they settle it out to 3 wide situation racing, about 3 rows deep from about 5th place on back. Matthew Dallio almost literally giving a handshake to Cassandra Renzi. They were that close, leaning on each other. As Silverfox leads the way, Sean Galligan right behind him in 2nd, McIntyre in 3rd, 4th place Cassandra Renzi, and then 5th place under contest in yet another 4 wide situation. Dallio, Jones, Walsh, and Washer. Silverfox is actually doing a good job of defensive driving right now. After getting the lead, oh boy, look out behind him though. Tim Walsh, Danny Wells nearly rubbing doors. As McIntyre is going to move by Sean Galligan, that's for 2nd. Now sets his sights on the Arrowhead Chevy out of Turner Motorsports, James Silverfox. Slower car up ahead as now McIntyre makes his move. That slower car is rookie Ricky Falcon. And Let's see which line it may end up holding up here. Silver Fox on that outside line may be in the best spot to be able to get around that one machine. Come up on him, and one's going to move up in front of Silver Fox. Silver Fox trying to move underneath, can't do it. He's held up, and now so is to his teammate, Cassandra Renzi. Now he'll go to the extreme high line. Looks like Silver Fox will get around, but here comes Galligan. Here comes Kyle Matthews in the 70. He's coming to the bottom. Drafting help here from Chevy Camaro, Tim Walsh. How about Charles Jackson? We talked about him for a brief moment about 5 laps ago. Now he's back up here in the hunt. Some of these drivers started up at the front of the field. Some of these drivers started in the middle. Some of them started at the rear, but they're all up here together right now. I believe at the current moment, this pack consists of, let me look to be completely sure, 13 drivers. Kyle Matthews, now the leader. In the number 74 Travel Chevy Camaro, second place Tim Walsh, third place under contest between Jessica Shelton, Levi McIntyre, and Matthew Dallio. At the stripe, 4 to go here at Talladega. I'm hoping that this thing's not going to have to come down to these drivers having to pit for fuel here in the closing stages. I'd like it if this lead pack of 13 cars are able to make it the rest of the way and battle it out for the win. But then again, you never know, as Matthews has been able to maintain somewhere around a half car length to a car length between himself and second place. I don't know if this is strategy on the part of Tim Walsh or not, but could very well be, because look now who he's got drafting with him. His fellow teammate out of Turner Motorsports. Those two, Walsh and Silver Fox, can try working together now to catch up to Kyle Matthews, but so much for that alliance. Silver Fox now steps out of line, looking for second place. I'm looking here trying to find an opportunity for teammates to work together, and outside of those two Turner Motorsports machines, I'm not seeing many teammates that are up here to be able to work together. Matthew Dallio did have Tristan Folks for a time, but Folks has now slipped back. Jake Rogers, though, does have his teammate Zach Hamlin up here he could work with, and Chris Washer's got his teammate Danny Wells that he could possibly work with here. At the moment, though, here they come on the inside line. Sitting duck is Kyle Matthews. New leader is James Silverfox. The pusher is Jake Rogers. Rogers trying to become the first multiple-time winner this season, too. We've had 6 different races and 6 different race winners. Right now, I believe the only driver that is up here that has won a race so far this season is that 19 machine, our winner from Rockingham, UK, Jake Rogers. 2 to go here at Talladega. It's Silverfox, Rogers, McIntyre, Jones, Washer, Kyle Matthews, Sean Galligan, Charles Jackson, Danny Wells, Zach Hamlin, Jessica Shelton, Matthew Dallio, and Tim Walsh. Those are the drivers that are in this big lead pack. Cassandra Renzi is behind them, trying to catch the tail end of this draft and make it, I think that would make it a 13-car pack. But time is running short, as now Levi McIntyre goes underneath Jake Rogers. That's for second. Chris Washer now with the rear deck lid full of Kyle Matthews as those two Chevy Camaros come up the inside line. Right there, that shot. Those drivers are in it to win it. They have a shot at winning this race. It all depends on what happens here on the final lap. White flag in the air. Here comes McIntyre to the bottom on James Silverfox. Chris Washer not going to offer the drafting help. Instead, it'll come in the form of Kyle Matthews. Jake Rogers has now slipped back into 5th, but he's got Danny Wells helping to try and push him back up to the front. Can McIntyre hold off Kyle Matthews? Slower car up ahead, but I don't think they'll encounter him before they get to the start-finish line. Here comes Kyle Matthews, trying to get a run to the inside line. Look at Levi McIntyre, trying to keep his car to block both lines, inside and outside line. He's going to keep the lead here heading into 3. Kyle Matthews moving underneath James Silverfox. That's for second. Here comes Jake Rogers. Here comes Jessica Shelton. Here comes Sean Galligan. Can Matthews make a move? Rogers peaks low underneath Silverfox. Matthews cuts him off. Matthews gonna try and make a move. No! He will ride behind Levi McIntyre as McIntyre will come down, take the checker flag, and Levi McIntyre wins the Aaron's 312 at Talladega Superspeedway. And not only is Levi McIntyre going to be the race winner today, but that win for certain is going to put him atop the point standings here in Mobil1 Cup Series competition. What a win for that team. I believe that's the first win this season as well for the Roush camp. Levi McIntyre, right place, right time, and I believe that was actually the first time we've seen him out in front here today, this entire race. And that one move that I saw him make down the back straightaway there, where he kind of had his left rear blocking the inside line and his right rear blocking the outside line, I think that was the key factor into him winning this race. A great defensive move to block both lines from advancing on him into 3, and Levi McIntyre hangs on and wins here today at Talladega Superspeedway, his first win of the season, and we are 7 for 7 in different winners so far this season in Mobil1 Cup Series competition. And they are telling me, indeed, this win gives Levi McIntyre the points lead, so Levi McIntyre joins Dylan Thoreau and James McLeod as points leaders atop the standing so far this season. Congratulations to that team. A great win for McIntyre, his second win of Season 8. He also has a win over in Snickers Cup Series competition that came at Rockingham, UK, so it's been a pretty good season so far for Levi McIntyre. 2 wins in 2 different series. And now, if he can win a race in the Truck Series, he'll be the first driver to hit the trifecta here in Season 8. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race from Talladega. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. Enjoy your official full finishing results, overall points standings, and rookie points heading into next week's event, which, if I'm not mistaken, I believe is at Charlotte. So hope you'll tune in for that, as you've been watching production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. Sean Henley got turned by Shadunham, and he saved it! What are these guys doing? Oh, and Henley just got turned now. That time he got turned. Logan Wilson is flipping on his roof. Dylan Young is collected. Sitnowski's collected. Dylan Young is now flipping. Citadino's involved. Mary Cole is in it. Drew Austin has been collected, and Dylan Young continues to flip. Now comes the rest. There is our caution.